Thank you very much. Good morning and welcome to the Board of Aldermen Housing, Urban Development and Zoning Committee for January 19th, 2023. Madam Clerk, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Would you please call the roll?
Alderman Cone. Alderman Kotar. Alderwoman Boyd. Alderman Gunther.
Here.
Alderman Narayan.
Here.
Alderman Todd.
Present.
Alderwoman Evans.
Present.
Alderwoman Peel. Alderman Gross.
Here.
Alderman Lappy. Alderwoman Keys.
Here.
Alderwoman Walker.
Present.
Chair Davis.
Present.
Alderman Cone. Alderman Kotar. Alderwoman Boyd. Alderwoman Peel. Alderman Lappy. We have 8 present. You have a quorum.
Thank you very much. We have minutes that need to be approved.
Yes, approval of the minutes for January 12th, 2023.
Thank you. The chair will take a motion.
I move that we accept the minutes from
January
Okay.
12th,
January 12th, 2023.
3.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Cone. Alderman Kotar. Alderwoman Boyd.
Present.
Alderman Gunther.
Aye.
Alderman Narayan.
Aye.
Alderman Todd.
Aye.
Alderwoman Evans.
Aye.
Alderwoman Peel. Alderman Gross.
Aye.
Alderman Lappy.
Aye.
Alderwoman Keys.
Aye.
Alderwoman Walker.
Aye.
Chair Davis.
Aye.
Alderman Cone. Alderman Kotar. Alderwoman Peel. We have 10 aye votes.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, as we move through this agenda today, which is very full, it is going to be important that you help me. It is going to be important that we all are very, very, very patient, and we are all very limited and succinct in our presentations. So what I'd like to do is hold my bill on the list to last. I'll hear my bill last, and we'll move forward with the rest of the agenda. We have a speakers list that is available to us. You have that ready and available when it's time.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I also have it listed here who's speaking as well. And so what I'd like for us to do is, excuse me, is for you to identify the first board bill, read the preamble. I will instruct the sponsor when it's time to start. Thank you.
Board Bill number 122, introduced by Alderman Jack Kotar. This board bill seeks to approve a Chapter 99 redevelopment plan and blighting study for the 718 through 720 Lumiere Place and 2012 Morgan Street redevelopment area. The project consists of the renovation of 2 unoccupied commercial buildings to create mixed use. The prospective redeveloper plans on renovating at the cost of $1.9 million. This board bill will allow 10 years of tax abatement, 10 years based on 90% of the assessed value of the incremental improvements.
Okay. Has Alderman Cotter joined us yet? I don't see.
Yes, ma'am.
There you are.
I have, Madam Chair.
All right, sir. Please move
right.
forward.
Certainly, and I apologize. Which I know I have a number of board bills today. Which
So you're
board bill
doing
is
Board Bill 122, sir.
Okay, 122. Let me pull up my list here. Okay, so this is part of our continued redevelopment of Laclede's Landing. As I think many know, Laclede's Landing fell on particularly hard times through really the arch grounds renovations were tough on it. It blocked access in and out of the neighborhood. And frankly, we lost a lot of tenants. We lost a lot of commercial tenants down there. Street level retail is basically non-existent. I mean, we're hoping to improve that. So what we've got now is a group of developers working together, trying to basically bring back the landing and turn it into a real residential neighborhood. So we already have about 50 or so units online at the Pieper Lofts, which is the old Bi-State building. By this time, by a year from now, or maybe a year and a half from now, we'll have another couple of hundred residential units on the landing. We've got some new retail coming in. So it is a growing area. And so the building we're talking about in Board Bill 122 in particular is one many of us are probably familiar with. It's the old Morgan Street Brewery, which is a really big building. It stretches from basically 2nd Street all the way up to 3rd Street, Lumiere Place Boulevard. It's along Morgan there. It's that whole stretch of building. And Vic Madison, who I know is on the call, who's been a longtime stakeholder on the landing, has acquired the building from the family that ran Morgan Street and is hoping to redevelop it, keeping a retail component on both on the 2nd Street side and the Morgan Street side, and then adding 6 market rate apartments. The project see approximately a $1.3 million redevelopment. The building's actually in pretty good shape. It's got to be reconfigured, but it's got good bones. So it's a $1.3 million development. And what we're looking for is a 10-year abatement at 90%, which is in line with other abatements that we've given this committee and the board have awarded for recent Laclede's Landing projects. I know Vic Madison, I believe he's on. There's a lot of people on today, I see. If there's specific questions about the development, I know Zach's familiar with it as well. And I'm looking for favorable consideration and happy to answer any questions.
Okay, so what I'd like to do now is to recognize that we do have St. Louis Development staff here, and Zach Wilson and others are listed as speakers so that they will be helping with all the various bills and resolutions that we have before our committee today. Zach, are you ready for any input on Board Bill number 122?
No, the Alderman covered pretty well. It scores 3.75 out of 5, so it's a very a good score for city schools and the city of St. Louis. Also, the affordable apartment is a major win for us too. We see these rents as very marketable for the area and affordable, so that's why we're also supporting this project also.
All right, thank you, sir. I'd like to start with the committee. Any questions on Board Bill 122? Alderman Cohen is not present today and has given his excuse. We passed Alderman Kotor's his bill, and the next speaker, Madam Clerk, is
Alderman Boyd.
that's right. Thank you.
No questions.
All right.
Alderman Gunther.
No questions.
Okay. Next, Alderman.
Alderman Narayan.
No questions. Thank you.
Alderman Todd.
No question, thank you.
Alderwoman Evans.
No questions at this time. Thank you.
Alderwoman Peel. Alderman Gross. I'm sorry.
Oh, no questions. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Thanks.
Alderman Lappy.
No questions. Thank you.
Alderwoman Keys.
Good morning, Madam Chair, and thank you all. I do not have any questions at this time.
Alderwoman Walker.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. I have no questions. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you. I don't have any questions either. I just have a comment. That Laclede Landing has so much to offer, and I'm excited to see that there are people who are willing to invest in that area. And so thank you for bringing this project forward to us. I'd like to go back to the sponsor, please, for closing.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Nothing further. I'd ask for a due pass recommendation. I'm happy to make a motion if you'd like.
Okay, go right ahead, sir.
I move that we adopt Board Bill 122 with a due pass recommendation.
Second,
It's been moved and second to adopt Board Bill number 122. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Cone, Alderman Kotar,
Aye.
Alderwoman Boyd,
Aye.
Alderman Gunther,
Aye.
Alderman Narayan,
Aye.
Alderman Todd,
Aye.
Alderwoman Evans,
Aye.
Alderwoman Peel, Alderman Gross,
Aye.
Alderman Lappy,
Aye.
Alderwoman Keys,
aye.
Alderman Walker,
Aye.
Chair Davis,
Aye.
Alderman Cone, Alderwoman Peel. We have 11 aye votes.
Okay, with your vote, you have passed with a due pass recommendation for Board Bill 122. And I thank you very much, Alderman. I'm just going down the list, so I'll be probably going back and forth. I know you have more bills. Madam Clerk, is Board Bill number 124 next?
Yes,
Okay. A sponsor,
that would be yours. You wanted to
put me down at the end of
Right.
the list. Okay.
yes, ma'am. So next board bill is 127,
Mhm.
introduced by Alderman Jack Kotar.
There we
This
go.
board bill seeks to extend the term of existence of the Riverside Community Improvement District pursuant to section 67.14816 RSMO, such that the term of existence will expire on May 31st, 2028.
Alderman Kotar.
Okay, well, this is on theme, keeping with our Laclede's Landing redevelopment plans. This is an extension of the Riverside SID, which is an existing community improvement district on Laclede's Landing that covers primarily parcels owned by what is now the Horseshoe Casino, and also some parcels of Great Rivers Greenways along the riverfront. It's not a sales tax, it's a property assessment, so it's the landowners taxing themselves, and they use these monies towards security and other infrastructure improvements on the landing. This SID was created when the hotel was built, which, gosh, is coming up on almost the hotel and casino almost 20 years ago, well before my time at the board. Jerry Riffle, who is counsel for the SID from Lathrop and Gage over in Kansas City, is on the call if there's very specific questions on this. But we are looking to renew this SID so it can continue the work that it does on improving our security situation, working with stakeholders on the Laclede's Landing. There's not, in terms of signatures for its approval, it was just the parcels owned by GRG and the casino, really, and both of them are in favor of continuing its existence. If there's technical questions, I'll defer to Jerry Riffle and his team on those, and I'm looking for favorable consideration on extending the life of this SID.
Okay. Is there any comments from the SLDC staff? Zach?
No, ma'am, we, SLDC supports it, but we don't score anything like, no CIDs or TDDs or SBDs, so.
Okay. We always want to make sure that the public knows and understands this is about helping to educate our public.
Yes.
The more we say these things, hopefully, the better understanding we'll have. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
We do have 4 members of the public
All righty.
who
Let's
are
get
in
the public.
support.
And I believe, is that mainly, I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, is that Mr. Riffle and
Yes,
Mr. Marsh?
yes.
Okay, they're here for questions if need be, but I don't think it's necessary for them to speak unless the committee has specific questions.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and start with the committee, and if they're needed, they're available. Okay, so let's go through the committee. Start with Alderwoman Boyd.
I have no questions. I just have a comment. I'm excited, Alderman Coulter. You're going out with a bang, huh? Because I remember that area and we used to have a lot of fun over there. So thank you. You building it back up before you leave. You're gonna leave your mark. So congratulations.
Thank you, Alderwoman.
Thank you. Alderman Gunther.
No comments. Thank you.
All right. Alderman Naran.
Thank you, Chairwoman Davis. Just a quick comment here. I'd like to echo the sentiments of my colleague. I used to spend a lot of time down on the landing in a bygone era, and it's been kind of sad, frankly, for the city to see it fade into obscurity. And since we know that the bones are there to have a thriving entertainment district, I'm happy to see the work being put in to try and bring it back to its past glory. And my one hope would be that one of these buildings decides to have a little bar called Mississippi Nights in it. And that's
really
all
good.
I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Alderman Todd.
I don't have any questions. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Alderwoman Evans.
Yes, I also remember fun times down on the landing. They used to have a riverboat there where every year we would celebrate our Christmas there. And they would put on plays. I can't remember the name of the boat. But anyway, that brings back memories of when I used to go there and have entertainment. And I hope to see that type of entertainment brought back. That's
right.
all. Mhm.
Now you all be careful now. Don't tell some things you don't need to be telling.
It was all decent and in order,
Okay. All right now.
but it was fun.
Alderwoman Peel. Okay. Alderman Gross.
No questions, but if we're all telling our Laclede Landing stories, I'll say that I sometimes didn't have the best memories there because I worked at Lumiere for several years. And so I had a lot of fun, but it was also a lot of work. But after I was a blackjack dealer and a roulette dealer during law school, and I worked nights a lot. And even this was 2007, 2008, and even then, if you get off work late, you could still usually find something to do right on the landing, walk out, and there'd be bars open even weeknights. That would be, had a little bit of crowd, and that was still way past. I mean, that's not even to say when I used to hang out the Big Bang and all those big bars, a long time ago. So definitely it's an asset to our city, and it's a gem, and I'm happy that something's happening there.
I totally agree. Thank you, sir. Alderman Lappy.
No questions at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Alderwoman Keys.
No questions, and bravo, Alderman Kotar.
Right. Thank you. Alderwoman Walker.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. I too would like to congratulate Alderman Kotar. Fantastic. I too have great memories of hanging out on the landing. So I look forward to them happening again. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And so I'm going to comment on the landing because I had an office in the 90s there when we had the regional census here, and I was a manager, and my office looked out on the riverfront, and to have that kind of pleasantry when you can take a moment away from work. It was just wonderful. And then, of course, I learned how to drink my stout beers and stuff at the brewery there.
Morgan
And
Street.
oh yes, I learned my beers. Okay. So it was a great place for us to have camaraderie after work and a safe place. And so we want to see that again. I thank you very much. And I will turn this back to you, Alderman, for closing.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to echo some of the comments, I also remember the time when there was a lot of nightlife and things going on Laclede's Landing. And that's something we hope to bring back in a new form, because it is also going to be a residential neighborhood. So I don't know that you're going to see clubs open till 3 a.m., but in the coming years, you are going to see retail coming back, restaurants, bars down there. And one of the things we've worked on really hard, including the stakeholders in this Riverfront CID, both GRG and the casino and SLDC has been an instrumental part of this, is we've been working to improve access to the landing. So in the last couple of years, if you've gone down there, we've concreted the east-west streets. So they are, you're not traveling on those cobblestones getting on and off. And we've reopened Lucas Avenue. If you, in the last couple of years, it's something I'm very proud of, that was really difficult to do. It required some state disaster funds that we were able to get our hands on, ward capital funds, some other monies that SLDC was able to find, and they managed that project. And we've reopened Lucas. So we've created another entryway onto Laclede's Landing, which is all part of this master plan. So with that, I would request your favorable consideration, and if it's all right with the chair, I'll make a motion.
It is all right with the chair.
Thank you. I move that we adopt Board Bill 127 with a due pass recommendation.
Second. Second.
And request previous roll.
Previous roll has been requested. Hearing no objections, Board Bill number 127 has been passed with favorable consideration. And I thank you very much for that presentation. Madam Clerk, our next board bill.
Board Bill number 142, introduced by Alderman Jack Kotar. This board bill seeks to approve a Chapter 99 redevelopment plan and blighting study for the Gateway South redevelopment area. The projects will include the renovation of numerous commercial and industrial buildings and construction of new buildings in 94 acres in the downtown Kosciuszko and LaSalle Park neighborhoods. The uses will be commercial, industrial, and residential. This board bill will allow up to 15 years of tax abatement, 10 years based on 90% of the assessed value of the incremental improvements, and followed by 5 years based on 50% of the assessed value of the incremental improvements.
Okay. Alderman, go right ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And this is something I think we're all very excited about, and it's something that, frankly, I'm so happy to see coming to fruition before my term is over. This is a redevelopment plan for what we're calling, the Gateway South Phase 1, which is, I guess, what we used to call Shoto's Landing. It's basically the south leg of the arch. It's the the industrial buildings, the many vacant industrial buildings there on the south side of the arch, really part of our front door that has long been vacant and deteriorating. You probably all remember years ago when we had to take down that, I think it was Powell, I don't remember the name of that building, the one right by the highway ramp there.
Yeah, that Powell building.
Yeah, we've now got a development team, good development group, who has a very ambitious project, and this is phase 1 of that project, and they've been working very closely with SLDC on this. So the request here, it's a 15-year abatement, and it's stepped. So the first 5 would be at 90%, the second 5 at 75%, and the third 5 years at 50%. And the plan here is to sort of create we're calling it a design and construction innovation district. So a lot of this property is going to wind up being, commercial use. It's going to be industrial, light industrial. There is a residential component as well, but most of it is going to be to help create jobs and spur more economic activity in this area, and be really on the cutting edge of sort of the future of construction, which is more modular design, pre-built things that can be fabricated there, put on the river, put on trains, and shipped elsewhere. I want to turn it over. I want to give SLDC a chance to give their presentation on this. And then also, I know Doug Rasmussen's here from Steadfast City. I believe he'd like to speak. He's been working very hard on this. I mean, this is many, many years in the making. It's taken a long time for the developer to get all these parcels under control, because there are some active businesses down there, not many, but a few. This again is just phase one. It's about, I believe it's about phase one's $150 million or so of a multi-phase project. So with that, I'll turn it over to Zach to give his presentation, and then to Doug.
All right, go right ahead, Zach.
Thank you, Alderman. No, this board bill is for the whole area of just south of the Gateway Arch. So we were allowing 15 years of abatement through this board bill, 10 years at 90, followed by 5 years at 50. Now we scored the first phase of this project will be $200 million. 150 million will be construction costs, hard costs, which would be possibly $36 million going to minority firms, 16.5 million going to women-owned firms. So that would be a major win for minority women-owned firms here in the city of St. Louis. Also, with this phasing, we see several other phases coming after this. We'll be approaching close to around $1 billion in later phases if you add all the phases together. So I'm going to pass this off to Jake on our team who can go through the model a little bit more, delve into the numbers for you. Jake, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning, committee members. I'm going to share my screen really quickly. And I'll run through these briefly. As Zach mentioned, this first phase is about $200 million and covers about 12.5 acres of parcels down there. The real estate program includes 130 apartments, 275,000 square feet of office space, 745,000 square feet of industrial space, and about 127,000 square feet of retail. Those 12.5 acres currently generate about $57,000 in property taxes. So that works out to about $4,600 an acre. Once this is developed and realized, even during the abatement, we're projecting annual property taxes ranging from about $425,000 up to $2 million a year as that abatement kind of burns off. And after the abatement, we're projecting annual property taxes of about $5 million. So obviously that's a substantial increase over the $57,000 that area is currently generating. We scored it 2 ways in our model. It does score well both ways. Because some of the strategic land uses in that area vary a bit. It provides some different benchmarks for those properties to meet, but the scores range from 3 to 5, depending on the strategic land use. And we're projecting a fiscal benefit of just under $20 million for the city over the first 10 years, increasing to $43 million over 20 years. And for the school districts, benefits of $5 million over 10 years, increasing to $21 million over 20 years. Zach did mention the potential MWBE impacts over here. And we're projecting significant job creation of about 1,200 positions at a very solid average annual wage of $63,000. So if anyone has any other questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Okay. Thank you very much. You had Zach, you have another speaker from your team?
No, and not at this time, Alderman.
Okay. Alderman, you wanted to go to Doug Rasmussen now?
We do have 2 speakers in support, a speaker in opposition, and Mr. Leroy Grant and Ed Geserdek asked to be removed from the speakers list.
Okay, that's fine. But Alderman Coder had indicated that Doug Rasmussen was going to speak on this bill as well. Doug, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I'm sorry, we have to swear you in.
Okay, go right ahead.
Oh, great.
Yeah, we have to swear you in. So if you do swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, can you affirm that?
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you, sir. Go right ahead.
Okay, great. Good morning, board. Thank you, Madam Chair. Doug Rasmussen with Steadfast City. I think Alderman Coder and Zach Wilson did a nice job of discussing, the project. I think the only thing I would add is, this is obviously we're very excited about this. I mean, when you come in off of the Poplar Street Bridge from Illinois, there's clearly a large, underutilized vacant space that we feel will be a transformative project that'll re-energize this area. As was mentioned, it was, the focus is around construction innovation, design, really looking at how do we bring some of these, reutilizing a lot of the assets that are there, a lot of the rail, the river, to bring in these component manufacturers and suppliers and really create a lot of jobs and investment that, the city desperately needs in that area. The plan is an exciting plan. The other thing I would mention is, there's a large building there, which is the Crundon Martin building, which is, several 100,000 square feet, which will really be the, a large part of the main focus of phase one. And you can see that, if you come over the bridge, it's a very distressed, historic building. Part of the building's been even, part of had a fire and other things. And so really focused in that area, around Shoto Avenue going north to the bridge is a big part of the phase one to really come in and create the energy for the rest of the district.
All right, sir. Alderman Kotor, I'm going to come back to you. Is there anything else that you'd like to have discussed by anyone on this board bill?
No, Madam Chair. I think we've pretty much covered it all.
Okay. Madam Clerk, you said you had some public speakers who are signed up.
I have Mr. Jerry Conley, who's in opposition.
Okay. Let's hear from Mr. Conley first. Mr. Conley, are you available?
Okay.
I do know that I did get several emails from Mr. Conley, and he wasn't sure if he would be available, but he is sending something in writing, so we can anticipate seeing something from him.
Okay, then that's
Is
it.
that's the only person? Okay. So, Alderman Coder, we're back to you for closing.
Thank you,
Wait a
Madam Chair.
minute. I didn't speak to the committee on this, did I?
I guess we need to do questions, probably, yes.
Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. I'm like, oh, let's go. I'm sorry, committee. So let's start with Alderwoman Boyd.
I have no questions. Thank you.
You're welcome. Alderman Gunther.
Thank you, Chairwoman. I did have a couple questions on this one. So Doug, you brought up that the Crundon Martin building is a priority, which is what I was going to ask about. Looking at it, it looks like you had about 6 top floors completely gutted out. So do you see, what is the time frame to see about like stabilizing that building even before kind of some of the other projects get going down there? And I guess you kind of said that is your top priority. It is coming down quickly.
Yeah, no, I think the west side of the building is in high distress. So I think one of our goals is to, try to work on that as soon as we can this year. Our client is looking to start, middle of this year, and is working very actively every day on this, obviously. But that is a goal of ours, and we're working with SLDC on that.
Doug, is that the portion? Is that part of Crundon Martin? Is that the LRA owned parcel?
It is. Yes, it is.
That part's actually by the city, Alderman.
Yeah, and it's looking bad. Then the other question I had, there's that church, the Croatian church right behind there.
Yes.
Is that?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that? Are they keeping that, or is that going to be part of the development?
Yeah. Yes, they will stay. We've engaged with that church, and they are supportive of the project. So we're very excited. They're very excited about it. We're excited about them. So that's something that's important to us.
Okay, good. Yeah, those are my 2 main questions. Thank you very much.
All
Thanks.
right, thank you. Thank you, sir. Alderman Ryan.
Thank you, Chairwoman Davis. Just one quick clarification, because and this may be my fault, but I believe I heard different things on the actual incentive. Is this a 3-step incentive or 10 years followed by 5 years? Is it 5-5-5 or is it 10-5?
Chairwoman, I can answer that. The area is we're approving for the board bill allows for up to 10 years at 90, followed by 5 years at 50. For phase 1, SLDC has scored, and what we'll do is go on a redevelopment agreement with this group. But we're only allowing in that redevelopment group 5 at 90, followed by 5 at 75, followed by 5 at 50. We create these areas like the one in the West End neighborhood where we allow for up to a certain amount and we score them by project as they come in. So we're hopefully a larger project with jobs come in later, we can give them the full amount. But after this, we'll score it and then we'll come in with abatement what we see fit.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Alderman Todd.
I don't have any question, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Alderwoman Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no questions at this time, only a comment, and that is that I always welcome development that's going to improve our fabulous city.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
All right.
With that, is there anybody here in favor?
Okay, somebody's got to mute, please. Now, Alderwoman Peel is not here. Alderman Gross.
I'm here, Chairwoman.
Oh, I didn't see you. Okay, I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Chairwoman Davis. A question I have is, okay, I'm having troubles with my video. My question I have for SLDC, I'm wondering why it has gone to the LCRA. It was at the Port Authority Commission and they approved it. And so why is this being
you all got to, somebody got to mute. I can hear your conversations. I'm sorry, Alderwoman, go right ahead.
My question is why this particular project has moved from the Port Authority to the LCRA. Port Authority had supported this project and seems like it's getting hurt again. So that's my question is why it has been transferred or why we're hearing it again here in terms of the LCRA.
There's multiple layers to this project. This is just the tax abatement piece. That's why we're going through LCRA and in front of you with the Chapter 99. Doug can talk to you more in depth with what they're going through the port with, but for tax abatement purposes, they're going through LCRA. Doug, can you?
Yeah, Alderwoman, we'll one of our next steps after today and the activities here is we have to complete a master redevelopment agreement for the area, and so working through SLDC and its boards, that development agreement will occur through both LCRA and the Port Authority.
Thank you, Doug.
You're welcome.
Anything else, Alderwoman?
No more questions. Thank you.
Okay. Alderman Gross.
Hi, a quick comment and then a question. I agree that this location does really have a particular importance of being a front door to our city and getting something there. I think is important. I'm excited and a little bit more curious about the whole construction innovation district stuff. And I was wondering, do you guys have like tenants lined up, like companies that you think are going to want to do like actual products you're looking at, or is this just going to build the facilities and hope they come?
Yeah, no, we are.
Go ahead, Doug. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, sorry. No, we're definitely, just overall as a concept, obviously, St. Louis and the central location and some of the innovation that needs to occur in the construction industry, we feel like, this is a good location for that. But in terms of actual tenants and users, we're hopeful that we're in some fairly advanced discussions with a few that are new businesses to St. Louis that are out of town that would be focused around manufacturing and really having an innovative approach around component manufacturing and modular building in particular. So we're not there yet, but there's some real active interest from companies that are not in the Midwest that our client has been successful in sort of translating this vision to them, and so we're working on that.
Cool. No, I think there's a big future in that kind of component construction stuff. So I think that if St. Louis can position itself as like as a hub for that, I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
Nothing further. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Alderman Lappy.
No questions. Thank you.
All right, Alderwoman Keys. Alderwoman Keys.
There you go. I was trying to unmute. Thank you. No questions at this time. Jack, you're on a roll.
All right. Alderwoman Walker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. No questions at this time. I'm excited. Let's keep moving.
All right. Thank you. Well, my only comments are, in order for us to do all the things that we know we need to do for those who are less fortunate in the city of St. Louis, it requires money. And in order to have money, you need to have people who are willing to invest in the city that creates economic opportunity. As I've said many times before, a city government system does not make money like the average business that evolves every day. We don't sell hamburgers. We don't sell popcorn, sodas, ice cream. So what we sell is the opportunity to live, work, and play. And that requires investment and development so that we can have the funds in our coffers to help those who are less fortunate. I'm excited, and I thank all of you for the discoveries that you have made and how you've worked diligently on moving tough projects like this forward. This is exciting. So just thank you. Madam Clerk, did you see, did Mr. Conley come forward yet?
No, he has not appeared.
Okay. I just wanted to double check before I moved on. So I'm back to you, Alderman, for closing.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, this is obviously a very ambitious project. This is a long time in the making. This is an area we've been shopping around for a number of years. So I'm excited about this. I do hope it gets off the ground. This is a first step, and the development team's working hard at it. So it's my hope that in future years we're going to have a redeveloped south leg of the arch, which would be great. It will complement the work we're doing, and we've talked at length about today on the north end of the arch at McLeod's Landing. It's for the front door of our whole region. So with that, Madam Chair, if it's all right, I'll make a motion.
Go right ahead, sir.
I move that we adopt Board Bill 142 with a due pass recommendation.
Second.
It's been moved and second to adopt Board Bill. Do I hear previous row?
I believe we added the 17th.
We have to take roll.
Oh, I'm sorry. So we have to call the roll. Thank you. Keep me on track.
Alderman Cone. Alderman Kotar.
Aye.
Alderwoman Boyd.
Aye.
Alderman Gunther.
Aye.
Alderman Ryan.
Aye.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Aye.
Alderman Todd.
Aye.
Alderwoman Evans.
Aye.
Alderwoman Peel.
Aye.
Alderman Gross.
Aye.
Alderman Lappy.
Aye.
Alderwoman Keys.
Aye.
Alderwoman Walker.
Aye.
Chair Davis.
Aye.
Alderman Cone. We have 12 aye votes.
All right, thank you. So you have passed Board Bill, is that 142?
Yes,
With a
ma'am.
with a due pass recommendation, and we're all excited about it. Madam Clerk, our next board bill.
Board Bill number 157, introduced by Alderman James Page. An ordinance approving a redevelopment plan dated June 28, 2022 for the 1900 through 1926 Carr Street area.
Alderman Page.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair and members of the HUD's committee. It is my extreme pleasure and high honor to bring Board Bill 157 before the committee. Just a little bit of background. This is a board bill that provides a redevelopment plan and some very modest incentives to enable a long-time business in the city of St. Louis, a small business, to grow and move into its next stage of its business operations. This is the business of American Gourmet Sauces. Owners and operators are Freddie Lee James and his lovely wife, Deborah, whom I've invited to be with us, and they're on this Zoom meeting with us. A little bit of information. This business started right across the street from where I live at St. Patrick's Center in a commercial kitchen, manufacturing their first 2 sauce products, of which I am still a big fan.
Yes.
The next evolution in their business, they moved to a larger location down on North Broadway, down on the riverfront. Well, I'm happy to report that they are moving into their next operation. And this is in the, as advertised, it's in the 1900 to 1926 block of Carr Street, right here in the fabulous 5th Ward, where they have remained for all of their business lives. Now, a couple of other things. They have already gone into operation in this new facility. And I just learned talking with them earlier this week that they have hired their first couple of employees right from the Carr Square neighborhood. These are going to be tax-paying, gainfully employed employees right from the neighborhood. I can't tell you how geeked I am about that. So I am very excited about this project. It is a good project for the city. It's a good project for the fabulous 5th/14th Ward. And it's a great project for the Carr Square neighborhood. So with that, I'm going to move that we adopt Board Bill 157 with a due pass recommendation. And I'll be happy to answer questions from the committee.
Second.
Okay, you all jumped ahead of me, but that's okay. We can pause on that and we'll have discussion. So what I'd like to do is to go to the SLDC staff. Zach, what do you have to report on this project?
No, we're very excited about this project. This site was a problem property numerous years ago when it was a strip mall. Some people would hang out here in the front. So LRA purchased this site to help stabilize this. And we're so excited that Mr. and Mrs. James has purchased the property from us. And we're full support. With the jobs they're creating here, also to keep them a local business here in the city, help to expand them, we're very supportive. And that's why we support 10 years at 95% for tax abatement.
Okay. Would you like to have your analysis reported out as well?
This investment is under $1 million, so we do not do a full page analysis. So that's why you're seeing my beautiful face. So sorry.
No, I said that for a reason, so you could help educate the public so that they know how these projects are done. We do not do analysis on developments under $1 million. The professional staff has the ability to make the determinations on the investment and also the viability of the business and how it's run for it to succeed. So I thank you very much for that. I wanted the owners just to introduce themselves and say hello. People need to see your face because we've all been eating your sauce and we will use it forever on everything. Freddie James, would you please introduce yourself and tell people how long you've been in business?
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you very much, Alderman Davis. And you've been a part of us. You've been knowing about us for a long time.
Yeah.
And I just thank God for you guys blessing us to give us this opportunity to create jobs. And as it was spoken earlier, we've been in business now. God has blessed us. We've been in business now going on 18 years. We started down at St. Patrick's Center, and my wife and I held our regular jobs. I was a retired construction worker, and she worked for SSM as a troubleshooter. So when we had time, we went down to St. Patrick's Center in the evening at 5 in the evenings after work and made sauce. We didn't leave there until like 2 in the morning. So, you know, we can go to our regular jobs, but this is what we love to do. Now God has blessed us with this new facility. Now we're creating jobs, as Alderman James has spoke on. We've hired 2 people in the neighborhood. We're getting ready to hire some others. But once the factory really get up and running good like it should, we're going to have 2 shifts. So we're just looking forward to what we're doing. And it's just been a blessing. It's just truly been great.
We have to let the woman who really runs everything speak. Introduce yourself.
I heard that. Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Deborah Jays. I'm best known as Freddie Sidekick. But, with like Alderman Davis and Mr. Page said, this is a blessing and a great opportunity for us. And we thank you all. We thank Zach for all his hard work and patience putting up me with all my questions. And thank you.
And I'm making sauce right now. So we got people in there. Every now and then I stop in to see how things are going, but everything is moving real good. And we're inviting you guys, all of you guys, to come down and see what you done helped us with. So just come on down and just see what we're doing.
Oh, thank you so much. I wanted them to see your face, and I'm trying not to cry because you know I know what you've been through. And oh my goodness.
Yeah, we do.
I want to go back to Alderman Page, please. Alderman Page, did you have any other comments before I go to the committee?
Yes, there's one other comment I would like to make. And this has to do with a prestigious award that the James family received this past summer. The mayor's annual business luncheon at that event, the James family, they were awarded Business of the Year. And I was right there standing up, cheering like a high school graduation as they crossed the stage to receive that award. So I kind of wanted to get that out there to give people a full perspective of the business and the importance of this business in the city of St. Louis. With that, I'm open to questions.
All right, let's start with the committee, please. Alderman Kotar.
No questions. Congratulations on your success of your business and your continued expansion. Good luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alderwoman Boyd.
No questions, and congratulations to you too. I am honored to see that you are going to the next level. So good luck.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Alderman Gunther.
Just also congratulations. It's great to see expanding small businesses. I guess one question real quick for Zach. Did you say that this property was owned by the city? Is that what you said?
Correct. It was owned by LRA or LCRA for a moment of time, and
Okay.
until Mr. and Mrs. James purchased from us.
Gotcha. All right. Wonderful. No further questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman, Alderman Naran.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Just wanted to say your sauce is delicious. Congratulations
Thank you.
on expanding. It's great to see local small businesses get a foothold in the community and then be able to expand. And I hope that you continue the success moving forward.
Praise God. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Alderman Todd.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have any questions.
Thank you. Alderwoman Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have any questions. However, I do want to congratulate them and whoop, whoop, whoop. I grew up in Carr Square Village, so I know where you are. And I will be coming to get some sauce.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Alderwoman Peel.
Thank you, Chairwoman Davis. Congratulations for expanding and having this ability. I have had your sauce, and it is great to see small businesses like yours expand and flourish. And we'll see how you expand beyond St. Louis. And that will be something amazing. So wonderful for also a business in the Carr Square area and where you grew up and live. So thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay. Alderman Gross.
Nothing for me. Thank you.
Okay. Alderman Lappy.
Oh, thank you. No questions. Thank you.
Alderwoman Keys.
There we go. I finally unmuted. So yes, I was there next to Alderman Page as he stood up and cheered and said, "They're in my ward. They're in my ward." So congratulations to you. You have a magnificent cheerleader, and so we look forward to great things.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
ma'am.
Thank you. Alderwoman Walker.
I too, thank you, Madam Chair. I too would like to congratulate you guys, and being able to expand and innovate is always a wonderful thing. And thank you for being business owners in the city of St. Louis. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Right. Thank you very much. Alderman Page, I'll return to you for closing.
Yes, I would like to add one other short comment that I purchased my first 2 containers of their original product at a kiosk in St. Louis City Hall when I went to renew my driver's license, probably more years ago than either the James family or I would care to admit. That's when I became familiar with the quality of their products, and I've been a fan ever since. Madam Chair, members of the HUD's committee, I renew my motion that we adopt Board Bill 157 and pass with a due pass recommendation.
Second.
It's been moved and second to pass Board Bill 157.
I'm
Do I
sorry.
hear-
Alderman James is not on the committee, so he can't move to.
You know what? I'm so caught up in this. You got to help me. Thank you. You are so right. He cannot move it. The chair will entertain a motion from a committee member.
Madam Chair, I move that we adopt Board Bill 157 with a due pass recommendation.
Second.
Previous roll.
It's been moved in second. We call for previous roll. I hear no objections to that. Board Bill 157 has been moved with a due pass recommendation. And I thank you, Alderman Page, and again, congratulations to Freddie and Deborah James. And we're looking forward to the future.
Thank you
Thank you so much.
guys. Can I add one thing I forgot to mention?
Yes, sir.
We put inside of our factory a police substation.
Oh.
So they have the code to get in whenever they want to. So this
That's
is
good for the neighborhood. Thank you.
Absolutely, yes.
All right. Well, thank you and be blessed.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, our next board bill is the,
I'm sorry.
is the next board bill 163?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Please go right ahead.
Board Bill number 163, introduced by Alderwoman Kara Spencer. This board bill seeks to approve a Chapter 99 redevelopment plan and blighting study for the 2616 Cherokee Street redevelopment area. The project consists of the renovation of an existing mixed-use building in the Gravois Park neighborhood. The prospective redeveloper plans on renovating the building, creating 6 apartments and 3 commercial units for the approximate cost of $865,000. This board bill will allow 10 years of tax abatement, 10 years based on 75% of the assessed value of the incremental improvements.
All right, thank you. Alderwoman Spencer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, as pointed out, this is a 10-year tax abatement at 75% as recommended by SLDC. This was formerly a rent one. You may remember a long period of time when Cherokee Street had a lot of predatory businesses from rent to own and payday lenders, and this is really the last of the sort of predatory businesses. I'm really grateful to see this the rent to own leave the area, and I'm excited to see this project. If you notice from the handouts here, this is going to be retail on the first floor, which will really add to the walkability and the long-term success of Cherokee Street. And there's going to be residential units above it. The rents, as you can see here, between $495 and $855 are in line with the community, and I'm grateful to see that there's still rents available under $500. And so, going with that, I'm excited to see this project come to fruition. And I'm looking for favorable consideration from the committee. The developer actually, sorry, Madam Chair, the developer is here for any additional questions.
Okay. What I'd like to do now is, if you like, would you like the developer to speak now?
Sure. Let me see.
Is Jason on?
Yeah, Jason Deem, are you on?
There you
Yes,
go.
thank you, Madam Chair, and members of the committee.
May I swear you in first, Jason?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you affirm that everything you say will be the truth and nothing but the truth? Can you affirm that?
I do.
All right. Thank you so much. Go right ahead, sir.
Sure. So this is a project that has kind of been a hole in Cherokee Street for a while. It's occupied a large building in the first block of Cherokee Street west of Jefferson, and as Alderman Spencer mentioned, it's been a rent-to-own store for about the past 30 years. The second floor had been badly fire damaged and has been unused for about 50 years. So it's really underutilized, and being a corporate chain really doesn't contribute to Cherokee the way I like it would. I would like it to. I happen to live right across the street from this property. I'm very vested in the community, and we typically don't apply for tax abatement on a project like this if we can make the project work without it. But unfortunately, the size and scope of this project and the damage to the building has necessitated us to apply for this. But we're really excited about the project. I think transforming it from one large corporate chain to 3 small locally owned businesses and a number of apartments will be great for the neighborhood. So are there any questions?
We shall see as we go through the committee. Can you stay available for a few more minutes?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thank you so much. Going back to Alderwoman Spencer, I'm just gonna do a little educational moment here with Zach. Zach, would you please just give us that lesson again on tax abatement?
This project is under $1 million, so we do not have a full-scale chart of numbers and everything to make everyone cross-eyed. But the issue is here, we have followed the map here because it's a mixed-use property. The map calls for this area to get 10 years at 75 for projects that are favorable to the city. And we consider this very favorable to the city, and we support this at 10 years at 75. Other aspect, the rents are very affordable, and that's a huge key to this administration, and we fully support this project because of that also.
Thank you so much. What I'd like to do now is to go to the committee to see if we have any questions or concerns. Alderman Kotar.
No questions.
Alderwoman Boyd.
No questions, Madam Chair.
Alderman Gunther.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just want to say hi, Jason, and thanks for your work on the street. So.
Thank you.
Okay, Alderman Narayan.
No questions. Thank you.
Okay, Alderman Todd.
No question. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Alderwoman Evans.
No questions at this time. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Alderwoman Peel.
Thank you, Chairwoman Davis. I support this project and really like that there is affordable rents in this particular project. It's incredible to have that. So I look forward to having this go online. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Alderman Gross.
No questions. Thank you.
Alderman Lappy.
No questions. Thank you.
Alderwoman Keys.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm very happy to see a predatory business leave our city. So that is the greatest thing about this. And I'm happy that affordable housing will be coming in as a result of that. That does a lot of repair to the damage that those types of businesses have done to our great city. So thank you so much, Alderwoman Spencer, for working on this project.
Okay. Alderwoman Walker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Congratulations. Sounds like a great project. And thank you, Alderwoman Spencer.
Right.
I yield.
Thank you. I too want to give my congratulations to the project. Over the years, the Cherokee Street area has done what I think most neighborhoods don't realize they need to do. And you will go through phases of improvement. And I've watched that from when we did the very first building there on Cherokee. And I'm trying to remember the name of it, but I know there was a downstairs to it and we had retail downstairs and we had a lot of little shops and open market going on. And that was over 20 years ago, but it has evolved over the years. And I appreciate anyone who knows how to do moderate rehab. And that's how you have lower prices for rental when you do moderate rehab. So I appreciate you, the developer, as well, in having those affordable rents. I might end up living there when I retire. So let's go back to the sponsor, Alderwoman Spencer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We'd welcome you to the neighborhood, that's for sure. Yeah, no, this is a great project. You know, again, I'll point out that that this is, even though the rents are low, nice that Southside Spaces does, and that's a real testament to being creative and thinking outside the box. So we're grateful for this project, and really glad to see Rent One finally leave the street. And with that, I ask for favorable consideration from the committee. Thank you all.
All right, the chair will accept a motion. The chair will accept a motion from a committee member.
I move that we adopt Board Bill 163 with a due pass recommendation.
Second.
Second.
Previous roll.
Thank you. It's been moved in second. I hear no objections to previous roll. We have moved Board Bill 163 with a favorable recommendation. And thank you very much to all who've participated in this project.
Thank you all.
No, thank you. I'd like to move on to Madam Clerk, is it Board Bill 167 next?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Board Bill number 167, introduced by Alderman Michael Gross. This board bill seeks to approve a Chapter 99 redevelopment plan and blighting study for the 4974 Lindell Avenue redevelopment area. The project consists of a parking lot in the Central West End neighborhood. The prospective redeveloper purposes constructing a 30-story apartment building. The apartment building would have approximately 293 market rate units, 1,500 square feet of commercial space, and 340 parking spaces. The total project costs are estimated at $145 million. This board bill will allow 10 years of tax abatement, 10 years based on 75% of the assessed value of the incremental improvements.
Okay. I thank you very much. And our board, excuse me, our sponsor, Alderman Gross.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Today, we're here on Board Bill 167, which is the Albion project. You might have seen it in the news. It's been in there for quite a while. That this project has been proposed for several years now. It's on Kings Highway in Lindell, basically across the street from Lindell, from the Chase Park Plaza, across the street from Kings Highway, from Forest Park. And it's probably one of the, as many people have said throughout this process, it's one of the best located lots in the city. What is being proposed on this lot is to turn an empty parking lot, because even though that this is a great location, it's sat empty now for, I've heard 50 years, I've heard as long as 100 years, but certainly a very long time. I know there's pictures from the 40s of this being an empty lot, and turning it into a 30-story apartment building that will be one of the nicest in the city, and that will produce some of the largest rents in the city. The benefit for the city, and the reason why this is a great project and why it deserves our support and our investment, is because this project will throw off a lot of tax revenue for the city. And I'm really just talking about property taxes. I'm not even talking about the higher income earnings taxes that this can draw, et cetera. SLDC, I know will present, and they've scored this very well under their old systems, under their new systems. But I think that the things you want to highlight with this is that right now it's making about $60,000 a year in tax revenue, and during the 10-year abatement period, during the abatements, it's going to make over $400,000 a year. So right off the bat, during the abatement period, we're talking about several $100,000 more for city coffers. 10-year benefits, $2.5 million to the city. It's $1.5 million to the school, again, during the abatement period. And then the 20-year benefit to the schools is $9.1 million, and to the city, $6.7 million. So that's a substantial amount of revenue for an apartment building to produce. And I don't think that, I mean, I know we act like we're flush with cash because of the ARPA and the RAM settlement, but that's just one chunk of change. We need to invest in this tax base so we have, ongoing income into the city. So I think that, this produces it, I do understand, though, that a big part of, and I know that there are a lot of concerns, and I kind of want to address a few of them. One, abatements, I know under the law, they shouldn't be done except if the project wouldn't be done but for the incentive. And I think on this project, we can feel especially comfortable that that's true, because this project was proposed before and no incentives were offered and the project pretty much died. So, bringing, I think we can feel comfortable that this passes the incentive. The other thing is, this lot has been owned by the developer for a very long time. If the developer wanted to build, a convenience store or a car wash, they could have made a lot of money with a lot less risk. And could have done it without incentives, but they don't want to do that. They're wanting to build something that is big in scale and that, quite frankly, needs help at this time. So, I think we can feel again comfortable because it went through the but-for test and it failed, right? It didn't get built when we didn't offer incentives. A couple other quick things I want to address is, a lot of people think that we actually don't need more luxury apartments. We can't use luxury apartments, but if you look at the demand model, Affordable STL report looked at affordable housing in the city, and they looked at housing levels for every level of AMI, and we actually have quite a few people that make over 100% AMI in this city. And what the Affordable STL housing report found was that the people that are making over 100% AMI are currently competing for housing with the folks that are making 60% and 80% AMI. So, there's capacity for this. And I think that, and I will also say that, I don't think it's going to cannibalize too much either, because anecdotally, I live 2 blocks away from this apartment, well, not 2 blocks, but I live close to this unit, this development. And, anecdotally, I can say that a lot of the folks that move into these big new luxury housing is a lot of empty nesters from the county that are actually moving back into the city. So I think that there's demand here, and that I think that, we can use the luxury housing. And I think that since that these people are right now competing for housing with people making 80% AMI, that this is actually going to help the affordable housing all up and down the chain, to kind of, we need more housing in the city, period, at all levels, to address affordable housing. So I think that helps. A couple other just quick points. I know a lot of people are concerned about the number of housing parking spots in the project. The only thing I will say to that is the reason why this is a important, successful project and a beneficial project to the city is because of the money that it can throw off. And the only reason why it can throw off this kind of money is because it can command high rents, that they can charge a lot of money for rent. And, quite frankly, no one's going to pay the kind of money that they're looking for rent if they can't have, 1 or 2 parking spots. So when the developers say things like, these parking spots are necessary, I mean, they really are, because, I think that if people really are just honest with themselves and think about this, that, who are the people that are moving into this apartments, like they're going to want 1 or 2 parking spots for them. So I think that's necessary for the project. And as the developers describe it, it really is a loss leader for them. They don't want to build it. It's not producing revenue and it's expensive to build. But it's necessary for the overall project. 2 more points. One is, a lot of people, think the problem with tax abatements is, well, we're pushing off benefits to the city down the road. Well, we have problems now. Why are we, doing this? Like, why are we incentivizing stuff? And all I'll say is that we're getting a contribution from the developers. Well, $1.3 million they've promised to the city. We're still in discussions. I think that we'd like to see that primarily benefit SLPS and affordable housing. I know that SLPS does not just like themselves being thrown into stuff without being consulted first. So, we're intending to talk to them, work with them, see if there's some benefit they can't. But if not, we would like to, put it towards something like the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. There's nothing, I know that there had been some iterations of this bill in the news where we talked about maybe doing something creative for city employees in the unit. And, you know, unfortunately, I don't know if that might just be beyond the scope of what we're looking at doing now. And then one final point, and then I'll stop, is, you know, the people that just fundamentally don't want incentives at all for projects like this. You know, I understand those points, and, you know, all I'll say is that you should feel very encouraged that this project's incentive package is substantially lower than the package just next door at 100 North. You know, that got 10 years at 90 and 5 years at 50. This is just right next door at 10%, 75, not, you know, 10 years later. So, you know, if you just want the overall level incentives to decrease, you should feel encouraged and happy with the negotiations and the progress we're making in the city. So I ask for your favorable consideration, and I'd be happy to take questions.
Thank you very much. First, let's bring in Zach and the SLDC staff to make their part of this presentation.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Thank you, Alderman. Yes, this project is $145 million total project cost. Of that, 109 will be hard cost, construction costs. So that would come out to $26 million worth of minority firms contracts and 12 million women-owned contracts. So that'd be a huge win for those type of contractors. Also, I like to piggyback off what the Alderman was saying. Our job here at SLDC is to bring revenue here to the city of St. Louis and get the best deal we can get out of these type of deals. The project, the current parking lot is only making $60,000. So even during the debatement, we would see over $400,000 coming to the city coffers, which would pay for garbage pickup, policemen, all those things, all throughout the city, not just here in this small 1 block radius. So this would be a win for the city, and it scores well, 4 out of 5. I'll let Jake go deeper into the numbers here. Jake, are you there?
Yeah, I am here. I appreciate Alderman Gross's comments because he did about 95% of my job for me. But I will run through these really quickly one more time. We're proposing 293 apartments, a small amount of ground floor retail. There's also a very small jobs component associated with this project between building management and retail jobs on the ground floor. Fiscal benefit over 10 years to the city is 2.5 million, increasing to 6.7 million over 20 years. And fiscal benefit to the schools is 1.5 million over 10 years, increasing to 9.1 million over 20. One kind of follow-up point on the model score, a 4 out of 5 for the Central West End is extremely strong. This is one of the toughest neighborhoods, the toughest neighborhood, I should say, to score well in our model. And a project of this size would not score this well unless it created a tremendous amount of revenue, which it does. 65,000 in current property taxes annually. 450 is our projection of annual property taxes during the abatement period, with annual taxes about 1.5 to 1.6 million after the abatement ends. I'm happy to answer any other questions.
Thank you very much. I want to go back to the sponsor. Did you have other people who are speaking on behalf of this project?
I don't have anybody I know, and the developer is here, and I think some of his representatives are. I don't know if they'd like to jump on and say anything.
Okay. Madam Clerk, do we have any public speaking on this project?
Yes, ma'am. I have 3 public speakers. Sam Kopler, Andrew Yulee, and David Sweeney.
Okay. Why don't we take those in order very quickly? Mr. Kopler, we'll take you first.
We have to swear them in.
I will. Okay. Keep me on my toes. Mr. Kopler?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Do you affirm that all that you will say will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Please proceed.
Well, first of all, I'm obviously here to take any questions from the committee, but I appreciate Alderman Gross's introduction of this bill. This project has been a long time coming. And, my family's taken a fair amount of criticism, and I think a lot of it's valid for the amount of time it has taken to get this project to this level. And what's really led to it is finding a partner such as Albion that has the experience and the commitment to quality and long-term holding of this type of asset. We have been committed to this neighborhood for over 100 years. My great-grandfather started as an immigrant and built the Congress and Senate and a lot of the housing along Union and that corridor, and of course the Chase Park Plaza. So this project represents something of tremendous pride to myself and my family. And I see it something that we leave behind, for future generations that hopefully meets the standards of the Chase Park Plaza. So once again, I appreciate everybody's time and attention today, and I'm here to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. So stand by as we'll go through the committee very shortly here. So your next speaker, Madam Chair, that's listed there.
Andrew Yulee.
All right, I'm looking at it and can't read it. Okay, Mr. Yulee, are you available and ready to speak?
I am, Madam Chair.
Do you swear that all that you will provide information with will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, thank you, sir. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Alderman Gross, for the very detailed presentation. I'm Sam's partner from Albion Residential on this project, and we're very excited about the project. Madam Chair, I'd just like to say, it was never our intention to be here in front of you. And over the last few years of working through this amazing building in an amazing location, we sit here today in an economic condition that became a whirlwind over the last 12 months. And rising interest rates and construction costs have really forced our hand into this scenario today. We had several neighborhood group meetings and meetings with, different stakeholders within the community, and a lot of concessions to the building were made during those times, such as setting the building back 40 feet off of Lindell, which is a historic district, and working, hand in hand with our neighbors, the St. Regis Co-op, to make sure that we were satisfying a lot of their needs to this project. So I think a lot of people that you speak with would say that we've been a steward of the community and working hand in hand to make this project as successful as we can with neighbors' input. And we're holding our design quality intent for a building that we plan to hold for longevity. And with that comes higher costs in building materials. So I just want to say, we're really proud of all the organizations we've been through and the committees that we've been through so far. It's been a very long process. And thank you again to Alderman and Gross and this board for hearing us today. It means a lot. I'm here to answer any questions, project specific, if any of the aldermen have those.
I thank you. And we'll be going through the committee very shortly. I think your final speaker was David Sweeney listed,
Yes,
Madam. Okay. David Sweeney,
You want to swear me in?
absolutely. Do you affirm that all that you say will be the truth and nothing but the truth, sir?
I do, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Go right ahead.
I'll just quickly introduce myself. My name's David Sweeney. I am an attorney at Lewis Rice in downtown St. Louis, and I'm also a registered lobbyist. A lot has been said, and I don't want to waste everyone's time reiterating it. I'm here just to answer any questions that I might be able to answer. So thanks everyone for their time.
Thank you, sir. So Madam Clerk, I'm about to go through the committee list. Alderman Gross, you didn't have anything before I go through the committee. Anything else?
No, Madam Chair. Thank you.
All right, sir. Let's start off with Alderman Kotar.
No questions, Madam Chair. I'm excited about this. This is one of probably the most prominent corners in the city of St. Louis. So to see a project of this caliber come to fruition right there at the corner would be great.
All right, thank you. Alderwoman Boyd.
I have no question, just a comment, a great project, and it will be a good highlight to the scenery over there because it is positive and the Chase is still firm. So I think with the Forest Park and the whole Lindell area, I think this will be great. Thank you so much for being diligent and keep focusing on this.
All right. Alderman Gunther.
No questions. Thank you.
All right. Alderman Narayan.
Just a brief comment, Chairwoman. I spoke with the Alderman from the 28th about this, so I know it won't come as any surprise to him. I discussed my concerns that we've over-incentivized parts of the 17th Ward for many, many years. On the Planning Commission, I had a bit of an issue with the idea that this particular parcel of land was blighted, but what was true blight. Additionally, the Alderwoman of the 17th Ward where this parcel sits, my understanding is that she is not a proponent of this in its current form. I just have a hard time supporting this. It seems like if we were to dig a little further into it, I might be able to get behind it. But with $145 million development on that particular parcel of land, I just have a hard time with it. If it was another area of town that hadn't been so over-incentivized over the last several decades, I probably would be in support of it, but I can't support this in this current iteration. I do respect the Alderman from the 28th and respect his work on this. And I understand that I'm likely to be in the minority on this vote, but I just can't vote for this in its current iteration. And with that, I yield. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Alderman Todd.
I have to chime in on what Alderman Narayan said. First of all, the sponsor of the bill is the 28th Ward Alderman, and the 17th Ward Alderperson should be. My position is the person from the ward that the project is being represented by should present the proposal for the project, and she does appear to have some issue with the project. So I, in the past, have consistently said that the alderperson who is voted in to a ward should present the projects that occur in their ward, and then that will hold them accountable to the voters. That the voters doesn't approve of what the alderperson is doing, we have a mechanism set up where they can I vote the alderperson out. I recall the alderperson if it's that bad, but I always believe that the alderperson from that for a particular ward should represent and present all projects from that ward. Thank you, Madam Chair. I yield back.
Thank you, sir. Alderwoman Evans.
I have no questions at this time.
All right, thank you. Alderwoman Peel.
Thank you, Chairwoman Davis. As you all know, I do not support this project in its current form. First of all, in terms of the use of blighting, and this is not a blighted area here in the Central West End, and that we are approving this possibly as a blighted area is a disservice for the whole city of St. Louis in terms of, as it's been mentioned, this particular lot is one of the most desirable lots in city of St. Louis. And it is a blighted property because the cobblers who have owned it for 50 years have not done anything, and we should not be incentivizing a lot that has become blighted over the 50 years in which it could have been developed. And it is also luxury apartments, and luxury apartments should not be incentivized like this with so much incentives. We are looking at the school children and how this is taken away from the schools, and more generations of the city school, public city school children are going to be lost. I, again, want to say that, this can be developed. We know about inflation and material costs going up, but everybody's being affected by this in the city and in the nation.
And so why are we supporting something in which we have a developer who is super rich being incentivized? I am for development, but I am not for developer welfare. And I feel that in terms of looking at the entire city, if this was on the north side where we need development and incentives are for a whole swatch of a neighborhood that it's blighted, then I would be supporting this. But this is not something that is in a neighborhood that is blighted, and taking it into such a microcosm of just one area, one piece of property, one plot of land, and saying that is blighted is really unconscionable in terms of that. This can be built with modifications in terms of being able to economically throw off investment to the investors in this particular property. And that changes can be made, being more creative. I think that in terms of, we did see a board bill in Alderwoman Spencer's ward in which there was creativity to make that project work that we just approved, where there is a lot of affordable housing. There's no luxury housing in that project in that ward. And so we can imagine things that are different and workable to throw off 100% taxes in the city. So I know that people know I do not support this project in its form in terms of what we could really do and make it work. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Alderman Lappy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to state that while I'm sympathetic to the concerns raised by the alder people from the 17th, 18th, and 24th wards, that I don't know personally how I can vote against something that generates revenue for the city right now, especially considering how expensive construction costs are right now. But that's all that I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Alderwoman Keys.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I totally agree with the alderman from the 11th ward. And, when I hear that revenue is going to be generated for our city and especially for our schools, I am very excited for this project. I do understand intimately how construction costs has gone up, as I am a property developer. And, in this climate that, somebody wants to come in and build such a magnificent project, I am excited and I am in support.
Thank you very much. Alderwoman Walker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am in 100% agreement with Alderwoman Peel. We do need more projects and abatements and incentives on the north side of St. Louis. However, I am also in agreement that St. Louis needs development, period. We need to do things to bring people back to our city. So thank you. I am in favor of this project and I yield, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. My comments are very brief. There is no comparison to the two projects in the Cherokee neighborhood and this project. As you all know, in development, you have different types of developments that take place. They all have different components. They all have different purposes and end product, which means the project on the Cherokee neighborhood is a low to mod rehab, a moderate rehab. We are extremely appreciative of that. You cannot do that on that corner because it would not fit. They are proposing something that fits in that neighborhood. And aside from that, the incentives are not astronomical. We're not there. It's just not. And so there's no way to even pretend that it is. We also have had the opportunities with this project where they're donating money to the Affordable Housing fund and or they're continuing to negotiate to maybe even do more. So at the end of the day, the comparison should not be made, and we should look at this for the area that is being supported. And I do totally agree with this development. We need more for sale housing, and we need it on every level, because all we've done in the last 20 years is affordable housing, basically. And you all still have that report that we just gave you that showed there has not been a lot of incentives done, and we've done a lot of affordable housing. The 17th Ward is in the top 3 of providing affordable housing for the city of St. Louis. And so all of the, things that are said negatively are not necessarily as clear and concise information that the public needs to know. Madam Clerk, get me back where I need to be. We've had members of the committee speak. We are now going to go back to the sponsor. And do you have any other things that you would like to say, Alderman Gross?
Nothing. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, nothing further for me, Madam Chair. I would just ask for your favorable consideration. If it's okay with you, I'd move to pass Board Bill, or recommend to pass on Board Bill 167.
Alderman Gross has made a motion to pass Board Bill 167. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. Do we need roll call?
Yes.
All right. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Can't hear you.
Are you muted, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Alderman Kotar.
Aye.
Alderwoman Boyd.
Aye.
Alderman Gunther.
No.
Alderman Ryan.
No.
Alderman Todd.
No.
Alderwoman Evans.
Aye.
Alderwoman Peel.
No.
Alderman Gross.
Aye.
Alderman Lappy.
Aye.
Alderwoman Keys.
Aye.
Alderwoman Walker.
Aye.
Chair Davis.
Aye.
Alderman Cone. We have 8 aye votes, 4 no votes.
With your vote, you have sustained the motion to pass Board Bill number 167 with a due pass recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Madam Clerk, my next board bill here is Board Bill 169.
Board Bill number 169, introduced by Alderman Jack Kotar. This board bill seeks to approve a Chapter 99 redevelopment plan and blighting study for the 704 through 710 North 2nd Street redevelopment area. The prospective redeveloper is acquiring the properties for 1.998 million and plans on renovating the building for approximately cost of 10.246 million. The redeveloper plans to reutilize private funds and historic credits for this project. The properties will have commercial space on the first floors and a total of 33 residential units on the upper floors of 2 buildings. This board bill will allow 10 years of tax abatement, 10 years based on 75% of the assessed value of the incremental improvements.
Alderman Kotar.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll spare you all my preamble. We've talked about the landing quite a bit today. This is another project on Laclede's Landing. This is the old Judge building. I heard a number of you earlier regale us with your tales of spending time on the landing in years past. So for those of you that used to party on the landing, this would have been the site of the rum jungle. That was the bar in this building, the old Judge. It's been vacant for a number of years. And Advantis Development, who's sort of been spearheading these residential projects on the landing and has completed the Peeper Lofts and has a number of other buildings down on the landing under in various stages of redevelopment, have acquired and are redeveloping the old Judge building. It is planned to be 33 apartments, market rate apartments, and approximately 14,000 square feet of retail. There's a big retail component on the main floor. This building's right on 2nd Street. It's a beautiful old building, and we're looking forward to bringing it back to life and bringing more residents down to Laclede's Landing. I know Mr. Sweeney, who's counsel for Advantis, is here. If there's specific questions, and I know Jacob Surratt, I believe Jacob's here. Somebody from Advantis is, maybe not. But yeah, we're available to answer questions. We're seeking a 10-year abatement at 75%, which is in the ballpark of where abatements on the landing are. We did 10 years at 90% for that project earlier, which was a much smaller project. We think this is a great part of our plan to revitalize really all the buildings down here on the Laclede's Landing. Looking forward to your questions. Thank you.
Okay. Zach, are we doing another educational moment here?
This project's over $1 million, so Jake will speak here in a second on the project. But just to point out, I may sound like a broken record, but with minority compliance and women-owned businesses, this is something we take very seriously at SLDC. We require this for on-center projects, that they have to meet these goals. Our city is a little bit different from the surrounding areas that give out incentives. We have this as an ordinance that the Board of Aldermen has supported, and we execute here at SLDC. We also execute the prevailing wage requirements here for all incentivized projects also. So a project like this with $7 million of hard costs, 1.7 will be awarded to minority firms, and little over 700,000 will be awarded to women-owned firms. So I like just to kind of just speak on that for a second, and thank you for that time, but I'll let Jake take over to give the rundown on this project.
Good morning once again. I apologize if you catch any background noise here. I was in a conference room earlier, and we had some technical difficulties there, so I'm back on my desk. This does score 3.5 out of 5 in our model. It's projected to create about $630,000 in revenue for the city over 10 years, increasing to $1.3 million over 20, and a fiscal benefit of $200,000 over 10 years to the schools, increasing to $860,000 over 20. One small point: this project targets not only the old Judge building, but also the kind of small 4-story building to the immediate north. I believe that's 710 North 2nd Street. And there's also a small jobs component here, mostly part-time jobs, but some jobs associated with that ground floor retail with an average annual wage of about $48,000. The other benchmark I wanted to point out, the average rents here are around $1,100, about $1,150. This is not affordable housing, capital A affordable housing, but these are kind of moderate, reasonable rents. I took a look this morning, and they're right between the HUD limits for 60 and 80% of AMI for 1-bedroom units in the city. And I guess the other point I wanted to make, this property currently generates around $60,000 in property taxes. That number will go up to about $95,000 a year during the abatement, and then increase to about $200,000 a year after the abatement. If you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you very much. Alderman Kotar, did you want to have anyone else speak?
No, Madam Chair. I don't think we need anybody else on this unless there's specific questions I can't answer.
Okay, so I'll move on to the committee. Madam Clerk, are there any public speakers who pro or for,
No.
You got anybody?
No, I don't have anyone.
Thank you. So let's move on to Alderwoman Boyd.
I have no questions.
Okay, Alderman Gunther,
No questions.
Alderman Narayan,
No questions. Thank you.
Alderman Todd,
No question. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Alderwoman Evans,
No questions at this time, Madam Chair.
okay, Alderwoman Peel.
Thank you, Chairwoman Davis. Yeah, I have a couple questions. One question, if SLDC could pull up the graph in terms of the analysis. Can you pull that back up on to the screen, please? So I had a question about the orange line and what that meant on that graph. We got the orange line, I think the blue line and the yellow line.
Right. So a couple of these are, we can get in the weeds a little bit here. A couple of these are kind of artifacts from previous goals of the model. The orange line that you're referencing is the sustainable revenue target. So that's a reflection of a rough estimate of infrastructure costs that are associated with development of certain strategic land uses in different areas of the city. So in a perfect world, if every property or building was generating, if every property or building was meeting sustainable revenue target, it would be generating enough new property tax revenue to cover the costs to the city of sustaining that property in the sense of a property of that type in the area. Many projects don't meet the sustainable revenue target. I don't know that using target is really the right word, but it is just a benchmark to see the amount of money that's being generated by a property versus the overall infrastructure costs to the city associated with it. The
Thank
yellow
you.
line, oh, sorry.
Yeah, thank you, Jake, regarding defining that and clarifying that for us. You know, what I see is that we should be analyzing the sustainability and whether an project is going to reap the benefits to pay for the services, et cetera, in the city. And in this particular project, as you mentioned, it isn't meeting that sustainability revenue for the city. So I feel in terms of this project, it needs to be either looked at a bit more in terms of being able to meet the sustainability revenue for the city, or it should not be, we should not be incentivizing it with more tax abatement when it can't even produce the revenue to sustain it itself. And I think that's problematic. I think that when we do these analyses, we need to be a lot more pinpointed regarding that. And that, of course, it isn't, you know, a perfect world, period, but we do have these benchmarks that we necessarily need to meet. And if this is something that is a remnant from the past and how you're analyzing it, then I would like to see an analysis in which it is accurate. And I do not feel we should be passing something that is showing us at this point in time that it's not being sustainable. So I just wanted to get that clarified in terms of that. So thank you for your comments regarding that. And I yield back to the chairwoman.
Thank you very much.
Chairwoman, can I speak on that one for 1 second?
I was about to come to you because
Thank
you know
you.
where my mind is. Go right ahead.
As next Tuesday, we'll be passing a new format for all our incentives processes, and that will include a scorecard. I like to point out that line to be kind to people that have worked here before me. That line, orange line, I would call it utopia line. That line's very hard to hit. I would say that line's hard to hit for any project in this region most times. So you will also look at the gray line, what the current taxes and revenue for that site is. The gray line's at the very bottom. So if that project continues where it is, that gray line at the bottom will continue, and that's the revenue we'll get for the city of St. Louis. So please look at the other lines on that sheet besides that Utopia line, I would call it, the orange line, because the current revenue would be at the very bottom. With this project, the revenues increase with that project. Is it the yellow line? Sorry, my screen's a little Jake. Apologize. But come Tuesday, we will have a new graph, new reports for everyone to look at, and more realistic numbers to compare projects to. Thank you.
And Jake, I appreciate, I'm sorry, Zach, I appreciate you explaining that. And all of our pre-development concepts, as we prepare proposals to present to owners and investors of developments, as well as government entities, in the past, we have always given them those types of looks at a project. And that was a good word you used, utopia, because we always give them, if everything runs absolutely perfect and the world stays level, which we know that it normally doesn't. But here are the other two goals that we should probably try to reach. Here's the platform that you're at now, and this is what we're proposing with our developments in the pre-development stage. And as you know, usually by the time that first year is over with, we come back for analysis on those developments and we redo our numbers so that people will have the realism there before them. So no, there is no problem with that line being there, but it's going to be good when you remove it and only deal with actual numbers. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'd like to move on to the next. Alderman Gross.
No comments, and I do apologize for saying this because I know I probably shouldn't, but I did just look in the Albion project that we just looked at does cross the Utopia line. So
it does, yeah. It really exceeds the Utopia line.
Yeah.
And something we didn't even talk about is the persons who will occupy those units, what they're going to contribute to our sales tax base. It's going to be incredible because they have more money, available money to spend on our more high priced items in our city, whether it's entertainment, food, transportation, whatever it is. And so those are things that must be accounted for. Thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you.
All right. Alderman Lappy.
No questions at this time. Thank you.
Alderwoman Keys.
Thank you, Madam Chair. No questions at this time. And unfortunately, I am going to have to leave the meeting.
Hold on 1 second, because the last vote was, and we just need to take a vote. Okay, hold on 1 second.
Awesome. I'll hang on.
Alderwoman Walker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. No questions.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, because we had a roll call before, I'd like to have a new roll call established.
Yes, ma'am. Alderwoman Peel has her hand raised.
Oh, I'm sorry. I went to look down at my list for something else. Go right ahead, Alderwoman Peel.
Thank you, Chairwoman Davis. What I just wanted to say is that the new scorecard is going to come out in 4 days. I feel that why don't we wait until that happens and we could see how things might change. I feel that we really need to vote in terms of legislation or moving things forward when we have that information. So I just wanted to make that comment regarding that we are pushing things through without the proper information, not only on this project, but other projects. And I feel that if that's going to happen in such short time period, that we should be looking at this in the next few days after you have that. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll respond to that. Those lines have nothing to do with the actual financial analysis done on this project. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Cone.
Point of order, Madam Chair, do you want me to make a motion? I don't believe we made a motion on this.
I'm telling you, you got keep me on point. I would like that.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't have any closing comments. I'd ask for your favorable consideration on this project on Laclede's Landing. I would say some of these lines on the chart that the Alderman from the 17th takes umbrage with, are also skewed given the location of this project being downtown. Infrastructure costs and average tax rates and parts of downtown are much higher. And Laclede's Landing, while considered part of downtown, is very different than the rest of the Central Business District. So with that, I'd ask for your favorable consideration, and I move that we adopt Board Bill 169 with the due pass recommendation.
Second.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Cone. Alderman Kotar.
Aye.
Alderman Boyd.
Aye.
Alderman Gunther.
Aye.
Alderman Ryan. Alderman Todd.
Aye.
Alderwoman Evans.
Aye.
Alderwoman Peel.
No.
Alderman Gross.
Aye.
This is Alderman Todd. Can you hear me?
Now we can, sir.
Okay, then, thank you. I'm at another meeting too, so I would just be on this meeting and that one.
Okay.
Alderman Lappy.
Aye.
Alderwoman Keys.
Aye.
Alderwoman Walker.
Aye.
Chair Davis.
Aye.
Alderman Cone. Alderman Ryan. We have 10 aye votes, 1 no vote.
Thank you very much. Your vote has sustained the motion to pass with a due pass recommendation. Board Bill number
169.
169. Okay. So Board Bill 170 is next on the list.
Yes, ma'am. Board Bill number 170, introduced by Alderman Jack Kotar. This board bill seeks to approve a Chapter 99 redevelopment plan and blighting study for the 909 Chestnut Street redevelopment area. The project consists of the renovation of a commercial building. The development will have 306 apartments, 300 hotel rooms, 288,000 square feet of office space, and 3,700 square feet, 37,000 square feet of retail at the cost of $300 million. This board bill will allow up to 15 years of tax abatement, 5 years based on 95% of the assessed value of the incremental improvements and followed by, I'm so sorry. And followed 5 years based on 75% of the assessed value of the incremental improvements and followed by 5 years based on 50% of the assessed value of incremental improvements.
Thank you very much, Alderman Kotar.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. This is a project that's certainly gotten a lot of attention. This is the former AT&T tower at 909 Chestnut Street. Little history here. This building was built in the 80s. It was built for a single tenant. It was built specifically for AT&T. I don't know what year, but a few years ago, AT&T completely vacated the building and sold it for roughly $200 million. It now sits vacant and was sold to a group, Samara Road, for $4 million. It's the largest building in the state of Missouri. It's 1.4 million square feet, and it sits completely vacant on our skyline. It's really disappointing. There's been a lot of discussions about what to do with this building. This is a project very much in its infancy. Advantes Development Group, who has had a number of projects here today, mainly on the Queens Landing, has it under option and has retained Doug Rasmussen, who I know is still on the call from Steadfast City, and and Shayla Meehan from his office as well, who can answer any technical questions. But, this is the first phase in trying to bring life back to this building. It's an extremely challenging building to redevelop, as it was set up for one commercial user. Converting it to a number of different uses, solving its parking challenges is going to be a lot of work. As you can see, just based on the sheer size of the building, what's being proposed, I mean, these could all be standalone uses in any other building downtown. 306 apartments, 300 hotel rooms, 288,000 square feet of office, and 37,000 feet of retail. I mean, that's a lot for any of those uses, and that's all in one building. And I suspect even with all those, there'd be some additional space. So, the goal here is to show that the city is committed to getting this redeveloped. Passing an incentive package today by no means we're going to start swinging hammers and redeveloping this building tomorrow. This is the first stage in a process of, shopping this to lenders and getting interest in helping finance what is going to be a very big project. In addition to supporting this incentive package, which again is sort of a 5-5-5, 5 years at 95%, 5 years at 75%, and 5 years at 50%. This city has also supported adding this building to the National Place of, the Historic Registry. The Preservation Board voted unanimously to do that. So while it's an 80s office building, it is technically historic now and is eligible for historic tax credits, which will help alleviate, some of the development costs on this project. If it's all right, I guess I'll defer to Zach and then to Doug or Shayla from his team to give some more details about this project before we take questions.
All right, let's do Zach first.
Thank you, Alderman, and thank you, Chairwoman. This is a $300 million project, 306 apartments, 300 hotel rooms, 3,700 square feet of retail space, a little over 1,100 possible full-time employees working at the site. Total hard cost, $192 million, possibly $46 million going to minority firms, $21 million to women-owned firms. I'd also like to point out that this mixed use falls in line with the Design Downtown St. Louis neighborhood plan. So this checks all the boxes financially and in the plan world, urban planning world of what they've been looking for. Jake is here to go through the details a little more on the numbers. Jake?
Sure. I think I'll just cut straight to the fiscal benefit numbers here. So to the city, we're projecting fiscal benefit of 13.4 million over 10 years, increasing to a little over 30 million over 20 years. And to the schools, 2.4 million over 10 years, increasing to 15.4 million over 20. The AT&T building, I should say the former AT&T building, currently generates $274,000 a year in property taxes. During the abatement, we would see that number increase to about 425, and then up to about $1 million, and then a little over 2 million during those last 5 years. And then once all the abatement comes off, we're projecting annual property taxes of 4.5 million for the building compared to 274,000 currently. I don't want to belabor the sustainable revenue target stuff too much, but Alderman Kotar made a great point that didn't occur to me earlier. So both the AT&T building and Old Judge are in downtown, and those sustainable revenue targets are attached to the neighborhood and the use. So as you can see, the AT&T building far exceeds the sustainable revenue target, but this orange line for AT&T building is actually the exact same as the one for the Old Judge. So we would give the Old Judge and the AT&T building the same sustainable revenue target per square foot. Obviously, since one is a 30-story building and one is not, some of them are better or worse at meeting that target. If you have any other questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Doug or Shayla, you want to go? You got anything to add?
Thanks, Alderman. So appreciate the background and the introduction. I don't have much further to add other than just to say, obviously, this is a exciting and bold project, and one that we feel like we've got the right team in place, and certainly You know, a public-private partnership is going to be is a key aspect of this. So we look forward to everybody's questions.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I think that's all we have. If we want to start, if we want to do questions.
Okay, so let's start with the committee. Alderwoman Boyd.
I have no questions. Thank you.
Okay. Alderman Gunther.
Thank you, Chairwoman. I guess I'm not sure if really this is for Alderman Coder or one of the people speaking on the development, but from what I've heard from, I don't know, just people around, that one of the issues that the AT&T building had, well, two issues that they had. One was that because it was all built for AT&T, that there were limited elevator shafts that made it difficult to redevelop, and then also very limited parking for 600 hotel and apartment units. So can you just speak on that really quick about those two issues?
Yeah, I can speak to the parking a little bit. So the parking is a challenge. There's really only, for given the sheer size of this building, I think there's only room in its current configuration for like 100 or so parking spaces in the building, which is crazy. I mean, it was basically built only to have like some executive level parking for AT&T folks. Now there is an adjacent garage, also currently owned by AT&T. In years past, AT&T was unwilling to discuss any sort of sublease of spaces in that garage. They've changed their tune. So there's, I want to say, 500 or so spaces available to the developer in that garage. But candidly, there's still going to be additional parking needs for this project to be successful, just given its sheer size. And so that's something the developer is discussing with the city and looking at. I mean, there are other vacant parcels, around this building in downtown that, could be suitable for additional parking. But that is one of the many challenges of this project, is finding sufficient parking for all these uses in close proximity. I can't speak to the elevators, Alderman. I'll see. I'll defer to Doug or Shayla if they have anything to add on that front.
Yeah, thanks, Alderman. Now, and I'll let me add just a few more nuggets on the parking. So our client does have a 10-year lease on 500 spaces with AT&T, and then they have two 5-year extensions as well. So that's a key aspect. As the Alderman mentioned, there are 100 spaces in the building, so that's 600 that are secured. We do think, the building, when fully developed, would need about another 1,000 spaces. And so we're actively scouting and in very, very, good conversations with nearby locations to accommodate that. So recognizing that that's a development challenge, it's one that, we've been working on, well before this hearing, and is something that's very active and ongoing, and we feel confident in our ability to secure that and make that happen. The elevators, I must admit, I'm not an expert on the elevators per se, but I think perhaps, Alderman Gunther, what you're referring to is there are a couple of elevators that in the past only went to certain floors. In fact, I think when this was built by the AT&T executives, there was kind of like a private elevator bank that only went to the executive offices. But the plan here obviously is to, and there are other elevators that serve the rest of the building and all the other floors. So the plan here is, we feel like we've got the existing infrastructure from an elevator point of view to accommodate the program.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I guess if anything, I just wanted to add on to some of the challenges of developing this building. So I'm in support of this, and thank you for taking my questions.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Alderman Narang.
Thank you, Chairwoman Davis. This is a kind of a frustrating one for me because of the location of it and the fact that we did incentivize this thing to the tune of, I believe, $18 million in the 80s. But it does sound like there's it sat there vacant for many years now. And I know even smaller buildings, when they sit vacant, nothing good happens to them. So I imagine that when you take something and scale it, that the redevelopment becomes even that much trickier. I'm glad that the alderman from the 9th touched on the parking and the elevators, because the parking was another concern of mine, and just how this would be redeveloped in general, because I figured you'd either need to get some sort of parking garage or go underground, and I know underground parking is incredibly expensive. So I will reluctantly be in support of this. If we hadn't incentivized it so much within my lifetime, it would be a much easier call for me. But with some hesitancy, I will support this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Alderman Todd. Alderman Todd.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have any question.
Thank you, sir. Alderwoman Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no questions, and I am in support of this. Thank you.
Alderwoman Peel.
Can't hear you.
I have no questions.
Thank you. Alderman Gross.
No questions. Thank you.
Alderman Lappy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just have one question. On the slides that we were looking at a second ago, it said the average salary that would be created with the jobs created by this is like 67,000. I'm just curious about so 1,000, if I'm reading, I might just be misunderstanding what the slide is. So this is going to create about 1,100 jobs with an average wage of $67,000. I'm just curious about what those jobs are, because are those it seems, I'm just curious about what those jobs are basically, because it looks like the jobs that I'm seeing on the summary would seem to be hotel and a few retail jobs. I'm just curious, 67,000. I mean, that sounds great. I just am curious about where that figure is coming from.
Sure. So there is about 280,000 square feet of office space programmed here. So
Okay.
That's driving some of that number.
Got it. So the average is being pulled up by projected office jobs. Okay. I'm curious, do we not have a large amount of underutilized office capacity downtown?
We definitely do. I think that's one of our downtown challenges, but also I think it's been proven through a couple other buildings downtown, such as let's say the Globe building or the 100 Broadway building, where with the appropriate investment and the right plan, you can attract high value office jobs. And so I think that's one thing that we hope to do here is really to take this building to a level that's going to really attract businesses from not only the region and help businesses in the city grow, but attract new companies.
Thank you, Mr. Rasmussen. That's all I have. I'm in a similar place to Alderman from the 24th Ward, where I'll probably reluctantly vote for this, but thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Alderwoman Keys.
No questions, Madam Chair, and I am in support of this.
Thank you. Alderwoman Walker.
No questions, Madam Chair. Development. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let's see here. So we finished with our committee. I don't have any questions at all. I just support the project. It's needed. We can't afford to have that big building sitting empty in the middle of downtown. That's just unconscionable. And I appreciate the creativity in this development plan. Let's go back to you, Alderman Kotar.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to respond to the alderman from the 11th, the alderman from the 24th and their concerns, and believe me, I get it. The fact that we're having to re-incentivize existing buildings that were incentivized, before any of our time here is frustrating. Unfortunately, it's it's the reality of where our central business district is right now, post-pandemic, as we find ourselves with vacant office space to the tune of roughly 20%, maybe a little higher than that downtown. Commercial rents that pale in comparison to Clayton. It's a challenging market. And I think in the years to come, I won't be serving as the alderman for this area, but I think you're going to see more creativity. You're going to have to see more creativity on what to do with some of these big buildings that were originally, planned as commercial buildings. But as that market changes with work from home and some of our professional services pushing further west, what do we do with some of these buildings? Do we do creative reuses where we turn them into residential, or we turn them into different types of commercial space? I think you're going to see more of that, and it's going to take some help from the city. I mean, the one saving grace here on any of these buildings is, you're not starting from zero basis, right? I mean, they are all on the tax rolls already. So as we incentivize these, you're not starting from zero. There is money flowing to the taxing districts that benefit from property taxes. But yeah, this is a challenging one, and I suspect, I'm hopeful this will be a success. This is going to take many years to get done. But between this building and then keep in mind we have another massive vacant building downtown in the Railway Exchange building, which is 1.2 million square feet. So two of the largest buildings in this state sit vacant blocks from each other in the middle of our downtown. So we've got a lot of work to do in the years ahead. I'm grateful for the support that SLDC has given to this. And I would ask for your favorable consideration. And Madam Chair, would you like me to make a motion?
Yes, please.
I would move that we adopt Board Bill 170 with a due pass recommendation.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Your answer.
Okay. So it's been moved and seconded that we adopt Board Bill number 170. Can we do?
Thank you so much. I appreciate
I
this.
have to call the roll.
Last question.
Okay, and why can't we use previous?
Alderwoman Peel voted no on the previous.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Go right ahead.
Alderman Cone. Alderman Kotar.
Aye.
Alderwoman Boyd.
Interesting because
Aye.
the new boards. But
Alderman Gunther.
Aye.
Alderman Narayan.
Aye.
Alderman Todd. Alderwoman Evans.
Aye.
Alderwoman Peel.
Aye.
Alderman Gross.
Aye.
Alderman Lappy.
Aye.
Alderwoman Keys.
Aye.
Alderwoman Walker.
Aye.
Chair Davis.
Aye.
Alderman Cone. Alderman Todd. We have 11 aye votes.
Thank you very much. With your vote, you have sustained the motion for due pass recommendation on Board Bill number 170.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So next, Madam Clerk, I have listed here resolution number 144.
Resolution number 141.
Okay.
Resolution number 141, introduced by Alderman Jack Kotar. The subsequent improvements for property at 1220 South 8th Street shall be fully exempt from the ad valorem taxes, which would otherwise be imposed thereon for a period of 10 years based on 75% of the assessed value of the incremental improvements.
All right, Alderman Kotar, go right ahead.
All right, I'd like to first and foremost say thank you to members of the committee for their patience today. I know I've got a lot of bills here to get done here at the finish line. This is one I'm particularly excited about. I know the alderman from the 5th earlier mentioned when we were talking about Freddie's that was the Fifth Ward Business of the Year. Four Hands Brewery was a couple years back our Seventh Ward Business of the Year. I would be willing to guess many of my colleagues are familiar with Four Hands and its products. They are one of our very successful local micro brews, and really a pillar of the community through their sales of their citywide products. They give money back. They rotate it and they give money back to local charities. They're situated in kind of a unique spot there in the LaSalle Park neighborhood, down from St. Raymond's and Lore Distributing. After many years of negotiations, Four Hands has finally acquired the building that they're located in. They rented that space from a longtime pump company that owned the building and operated on the south side, closest to the cul-de-sac there. They've sold to Four Hands, so Kevin Lemp, the owner, is making a significant investment in the space to expand the brewery and his capacity, and he will be bringing on more employees as a result. And this is something we're really excited about, because Four Hands it's a huge attraction. I mean, it brings people from all over to LaSalle Park, one of the smallest, might be the smallest neighborhood in the city. So this is a 10-year abatement at 75%. It's a resolution because this parcel sits in an existing enhanced enterprise zone. I know we have a number of new HUD's committee members, but enhanced enterprise zones were created long ago and allow us to, by resolution, authorize tax abatement up to 10 years at 100%. I don't know, I guess SLDC has done an analysis of this project, so I would turn it over to them. I know Mr. Sweeney, who is counsel for Four Hands, is present on the call if there's any other questions after we've heard from SLDC.
All right, go right ahead, Zach.
Thank you, Alderman, and thank you, Chairwoman. Yes, this is in the enterprise zone EEZ. That's why it's a resolution like the Alderman stated. Enterprise zone abatements we don't have to find blight. It's just all based on job creation. So this expansion will create 15 full-time jobs, and that's why they're eligible for this abatement. It's a 24,000 square feet of industrial space at $2.3 million. Jake scored the project, and you can speak on the model.
Sure. So the only thing I would add to what Zach just provided, so this is a 24,000 square foot industrial expansion, and they're also going to be adding an 18,000 square foot beer garden. In this area used to be storage for the pump house to the east. They're projected to double their overall production, and they're also expanding some office space as well. So 15 full-time jobs at an average annual wage of 42,000. This scores well in our model as an industrial land use at 4.25 out of 5, projecting a fiscal benefit of 540,000 over 10 years to the city, increasing to 1.2 million over 20, and benefits of 170,000 over 10 years to the schools, increasing to 420,000 over 20. And I'm happy to answer any other questions.
Thank you very much. Jack, did you need Councilman Sweeney? David Sweeney to have any comments?
Counselor, anything to add?
The less I say, the better. So unless
there you go.
Thank you, Madam.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to go to committee to see if we have any questions. Alderwoman Boyd.
No questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Alderman Gunther.
Hold on one second. Yeah, I just was wondering because for the sponsor here, so this building, are they actually taking the pump shop properties?
Yes, that's where the expansion's occurring. So the Four Hands has purchased the building. I don't know if the pump shop's still there now or if they've left already, but the brewery operations will be expanding into that southern part of the building. That's the additional 24,000 square feet. And then the beer garden, where there's some existing brewing equipment and storage on the east side, that'll all be a beer garden.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep. Yeah, I'm fully in support of this. Four Hands is wonderful. I probably contribute quite a bit to their bottom line there. And so, but also the just knowing the owners and a lot of people that work there, they're probably one of the most generous, I would say, businesses in the city for donating to the neighborhood associations and nonprofits and stuff. So, so fully in support of this, and happy that you're bringing this forward, Alderman Coder. Thank you.
All right. Alderman Narayan.
Thank you, Chairwoman Davis. I'd like to commend the Alderman from the 7th for bringing this to echo my colleague from the 9th. Four Hands is a great corporate neighbor to everyone in the city. One of the neat things about just the history of St. Louis in general is the brewing history of St. Louis. And just in the last few years here, we actually are back now above the number of breweries that we had before Prohibition, which is, I think, a really cool thing for the region. It encourages tourism. You know, these are good jobs. There's sales tax, there's property tax, there's excise tax. You know, I spoke with the Alderwoman from the 19th once about a brewery expanding over into her ward, and I warned her about the smell of living right next to a brewery, and she told me that she likes the way that breweries smell. They smell like jobs and money.
That's right. That's right.
And so I'll certainly be supportive of this, and I just wanted to bring that up because I know every time I talk about a brewery expansion, the Alderman from the 19th's words ring in my ears there that they smell like jobs and money. So
right.
Hope to see this expansion bring in more jobs and plenty of money for the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Todd. Alderman Todd. Okay. Alderwoman Evans. Alderwoman Evans. Alderwoman Peel.
No questions, thank you.
All righty. Alderman Gross.
No questions, thank you.
Alderman Lappy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I no questions. Thank you.
Okay. Alderwoman Keys.
No questions. This has been a really good meeting.
Thank you. Alderwoman Walker.
No questions, Madam Chair. Just wanted to thank Alderman Kotor again. He's not only going out with a bang, he's going out with an explosion. He's blowing it up today. And thank you.
All right, thank you. I just have to, I am so in awe of this city and the potential that is there. While we argue and or try to bring ourselves to a place of not being as productive as we can be, I look at this beer industry, and I think I have 4 or 5 breweries in the current 19th ward. I welcome them all. Beer gardens are a place of meditation, okay? When you go to sit in a beer garden and you meet new people, and you're like when I go to Urban Chestnut, I try new beers. But at the end of the day, it is not only producing jobs and money, but it is bringing people together. It is bringing people in community together, and is allowing people to understand each other more. And so I've met a lot of people in beer gardens. I think it's a wonderful place to stop in for a few minutes if you have that chance. And even if you don't drink beer, it's a good place to be, because the people who are there are normally interested in environment and every level of everything you could possibly think of. So I appreciate this. I appreciate not only Four Hands, but citywide and Urban Chestnut and Well-Being, and I mean, Brick River, and we can just go on, because they're bringing back our history from when Anheuser-Busch, Falstaff, Stagg, Griesende, all those different breweries were here, and they really helped build this city. So this is a good day to have this bill because it can bring back history and also bring some perspective for our future. Alderman Coulter to close.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have nothing to add. If it's all right, I'll make a motion.
Go right ahead, sir.
Thank you. I move that we adopt resolution 141 with a due pass recommendation.
Second.
Request previous roll.
It's been moved and second to adopt Board Bill number 141 with a due pass recommendation. I heard the request for previous roll. I've heard no objection. So it has now been passed, and we appreciate all of that has taken place on that in this city on behalf of breweries. Madam Clerk, we've got my last bill to hear.
I have a committee discussion. Item number 1, Riverside CID, extending the term of existence of the Riverside Community Improvement District.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't write that one down.
I believe we already did that, Madam Chair. That was one of the, maybe the second bill we took up.
It was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, because when she said it, I heard it. Okay, now we need to deal with my board bill.
Yes, ma'am. Board Bill number 124, introduced by Alderwoman Marlene Davis. This board bill seeks to approve a Chapter 99 redevelopment plan and blighting study for the 2953 through 2957 Dr. Martin Luther King Drive redevelopment area. The renovation of a commercial building may occur. This board bill will allow a 10-year tax abatement at 90%.
Okay, thank you very much. This is a building in the 19th Ward on Martin Luther King, right just a little bit east of Compton Avenue. When you remember back in the day, there was a white building that had a daycare in it, and we had a lot of neighborhood meetings for those who go back that far. Most of you all don't. But it's great to see that this building is going to be rehabbed. It's a minority developer, and it's going to be co-working space and some pop-up retail space available as well. I am very excited about it. I know that they also had to acquire some additional land next door to it. And so what I'd like to do now is, you all, I had my eyes dilated yesterday. I'm in trouble here. And so I would like to see if Sampson is here so he can talk about his project. Did he list himself as a speaker?
I do not have, I have him down as a speaker, but I don't have him on the Zoom.
Oh, that's unfortunate. He's a very dynamic young man and has a lot of energy and excitement about the city of St. Louis, and has chosen to come back to the city and invest and help us move forward. In saying that, I wanted to go to Zach, and we can continue with what we've been doing all day.
Yeah, thank you, Chairwoman. Yes, Samson Desu has bought a couple of other buildings in North City. He has renovated them very well. This one he's purchased from LRA for $5,000, had a massive hole on the side of it that he immediately repaired. So he's up and running and getting things, making sure the building's solid before he does any more renovations to it. But it will be co-working space and some warehouse space in the back. We support this at 10 years at 90. And since this project's under $1 million, there is no scorecard on it. So.
Right. All right. I thank you very much for that. I would like to now go to the committee and make sure we don't have any questions that need to be answered. Alderman Kotar?
No questions.
At one time, you know, the clerk.
Alderwoman Boyd?
No questions, Madam Chair.
Legal counsel.
Okay. Alderman Gunther?
No questions.
Alderman Naran,
No questions. Thank you.
Alderman Todd. Thought I heard him come back. Okay, Alderwoman Evans. Alderwoman Peel. Alderman Gross.
Aye.
Okay. Alderman Lappy.
No questions. Thank you.
Alderwoman Keys.
No questions, thank you.
Alderwoman Walker.
No questions, Madam Chair. Thank you.
All right. I will make a motion to pass Board Bill number 124 with a due pass recommendation.
Second.
Previous roll.
It's been moved and second. Previous roll has been requested. I've heard no objections. Board Bill number 124 has been passed with due pass recommendation. Madam Clerk, we have now ended this long list of board bills and resolutions. Am I not correct?
Yes, ma'am, we have.
All right, I thank you very much for that. I wanted to get to, we only had one alderperson that needed to be excused, and he did send a note in, and that is Alderman Cohen.
So noted.
For discussion today, I wanted to share that because of the length of the board bills today, we could not have the discussion on the TIE plan and have additional speakers. We will try to include that on next week's agenda, but please be prepared. We got a lot of board bills that still need to be heard, but we're going to fit it in anyway. So is there anything that any committee member needs to bring forward in discussion?
Madam Chair, just for planning purposes for next week, do we have a lot of redevelopment bills as well next week?
Yes, sir, we do.
Okay.
Not as many as we had today, but it's still a lot.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, hearing nothing else, we're looking forward to meeting again next Thursday. And if by chance we get backed up and we can't get all the board bills that have all of a sudden been brought before us, I'll give you plenty warning for scheduling an additional HUD meeting, and that would be on a Tuesday if we had to do it, okay? So just to give you forewarning. And I would try to do that at the last week in January, okay? So looks like we're ready for adjournment. And I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
All right. Thank you all. We've done an excellent job, a lot of hard work today. Thanks,
everybody.
All right. Bye-bye.